This is the Business Storytelling Show, a top global marketing podcast listened to in more than 100 countries, live streamed on social media, and Christoph Trapp chats with industry leaders to help your company tell better business stories. Here's today's episode.
Hey, business storytellers. How's everyone doing? Today we want to talk about online reviews. This is a good topic to talk about today because we just had Gordon Firemark on the show the other day who told us that the FTC now outlaws fake reviews. Oh my God. What have we come to? Fake reviews. Of course they should be outlawed. It's common sense. Doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't encourage people to do that. Don't use AI to write your online reviews. But anyway, stepping off that bandwagon, regulating my emotions towards common sense. Today we're talking to Ross McDaniel. He is the founder of Fencepost.co. Any home service business, anything local, really, people that work in your home, that's who they work with. And we're going to be talking about how do you get reviews? Why do they matter? And you know what? The first thing I want to throw at him is I don't do anything local really, but I have local businesses or really any business. Oh, we don't need online reviews. We don't need digital marketing, blah, blah, blah. But that's how I hire everybody local. I go online and I search for whatever, hat manufacturers near me. I mean, I'm joking, but like plumbers near me if I need a new plumber or whatever. So let's get Ross on the show, find out what he thinks and what's with the attitude that no, we don't need online reviews. We don't need online. I would argue you do. So let's see, get Ross out of the green room and get this party started. Ross, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Glad to be here.
And we have a hat party going on here today. I got the New York Yankees over here, and you have Fencepost. Maybe I should get the Business Storytelling Podcast hat. That's a good idea, perhaps.
I think it's a good path. It's not as good as a 5-star review, but it's a good thing for you and for others.
Fantastic transition. But now tell me, am I just dreaming that people oh, we don't need this. We don't need this. But are people saying that? Are you hearing that? And why are they saying that if they do?
I think there's a couple of categories. I mean, so first off, we're talking about the context of a local business and specifically a home service business. Really, we've got a few different cohorts of people we're talking about. And one of those cohorts, I think you're exactly right. They are saying that. And that's typically the old guard. These are the folks that have owned the roofing company or the plumbing company or the HVAC company for 2 decades plus. It's spanned multiple generations within the same family. And honestly, they've now benefited from brand ubiquity in their small to mid-cap community that they're in, right? And they're probably right to an extent. They don't necessarily need a Google business listing or a website or a ton of reviews to sustain business. But then there's a whole set of other cohorts. Private equity firms are buying up mom and pop, boring home service businesses left and right. You've got the young, entrepreneurially minded business owner that is seeing an opportunity in the boring business space, and a lot of other newer folks that maybe don't have the multiple generations plus equity in the community. And they absolutely do need 5-star reviews, better visibility in search listings, and digital marketing as a whole to not only sustain their business, but thrive and grow it beyond.
It's interesting to me too. I was in the nonprofit world for a while, and they were like, "Oh, we're fine. This is how we make our money." Like especially United Way, they would go into workplace campaigns. And back in the day, when people stayed with companies forever and ever, if the boss says, "Okay, United Way campaign, better give it to United Way," you would do it. Today, including myself, and I'm a young Gen Xer. If my boss were to say, donate to United Way, which first of all, she wouldn't anyways, but I wouldn't give because she says so. I give whoever I want to give to, right? But my point is, I also saw the trend there a little bit where people were like, oh, it's working. Well, it was working until it wasn't, right? So it's like, you probably have to make the shift somewhere to focus on some of the things, even if it's working today, unless people retire tomorrow. But anyway, let's talk about how do companies get reviews? How do they encourage people to do them? What are the best strategies, and how should they even approach people?
The first best and in some cases only tactic is to ask. People miss the boat on that all the time. Simply asking your best customers or any customer that you have to leave you a 5-star review is always going to open the door to leaving a review and to additional dialogue, and maybe even to referral. But certainly, without asking, you're only going to leave the door open for them to leave a review on their own. And when that happens, you're always going to get more negative reviews than positive. The people that are most likely to leave a review unsolicited are the people that have had a bad experience with you and want to share that with the world. The people that have had great experiences with you, that you would love to be a champion for your brand, those are actually the people that you need to ask. You have to go solicit those reviews. And I think you brought up something really, controversial, but also interesting as we're moving into this new world order. Manufactured reviews. We can't just fabricate positive customer experiences out of thin air. People see right through that. They see right through the spam reviews, the AI reviews. And so regardless of whether or not Google or Yelp or anybody else ever penalizes you for that, your customer is going to penalize for that, or your prospective customer is going to penalize you for that, because people can see right through those. And so we want to amplify and magnify the spotlight on these authentic 5-star customer experiences by asking and inviting those people to share those experiences with your business in a highly public and visible manner. And when that happens, you're not only creating value for yourself as the business owner, you're also creating value for your prospective customers, for your past customers, and for the person that left you that review. It's a beautiful exchange of value all the way around.
The one thing that comes to my mind as you're talking about that is you also have to focus. I mean, you have to focus on the good experience, right? I mean, every time when I do, so I do reviews for everything. Like I pick
Mhm.
up food at a restaurant I haven't done a review on. I'll do a review. I had a person come over and they fixed a door in my house. I did a review, and it was not a good review because it sucked how they worked with me. And then there was another guy who fixed another lock or something, and it was fantastic. I left them a 5-star review and explained what happened. And a lot of times what happens is when I leave a negative review, or it wasn't a good experience, they'll come back and they say, "Oh, how can we update the review?" Well, the answer to that is you should have had a better experience to begin with. You shouldn't call me after the fact, and especially now with FTC
Mm.
rules, we don't really want to update them, honestly, and just make it up. We want to be honest. Now, I don't know why this question did not show up in the chat on the live stream. Maybe Shrishti Mishra posted this earlier or just before the stream. I don't know. They say online reviews really influence spending habits. Ross seems like he knows his stuff. Now the question, Ross, is what's your take on review management? And number one, what is review management?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the temptation when we hear review management is to think that we're talking about some sort of manipulation of public perception, or reputation control, damage control, things like that. And that's not really what we mean. When we talk about reputation management, we're talking about the constant stewardship of our online listings or online citations across the web. We think about a Yellow Page listing, a Bing Microsoft listing, a Google business listing, a How's listing, Angie's List listing. We could go on and on and on, and you would be surprised for each industry. There's like dozens of very industry specific citations that exist out there. And so when we talk about reputation management, we're talking about our ability and plan to manage all of those citations so that they provide the most consistent information for our end consumer. And then not only that, when our end consumer that we've done business with, positive or negative, when they leave us communication and reviews in the form of reviews, we actually have a means, a system, a plan on how to respond and engage with those. And that bleeds into likely the spirit of the question, you know, how are we actually engaging with the reviews? 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 1-star, 2-star is what I left out, or otherwise, how are we actually engaging with those? Our policy at Fencepost is to never delete a review unless it is offensive, spam, or totally irrelevant to the business. They never actually did business with you. Other than that, we want all reviews left up there. 5 stars and 4 stars are great. They contribute to the integrity of your business. But you know what else it contributes to the integrity of your business? Responding with the culture and honesty and transparency that you would expect for yourself on behalf of your business to those 3, 2, and 1 star reviews. And so we see those negative reviews truly as an opportunity to showcase what you're all about. Uh, people, the statistics from 21, so it's a few years outdated, but a vast majority of people were more likely to commit and convert and make a buying decision on a business with a 4.7 to a 4.9 star rating on Google than they were a 5-star rating, because it shows and demonstrates authenticity. And how we respond to those, negative reviews, 3, 2, 1 stars, is actually how we showcase that authenticity and integrity.
The other thing that just came to my mind is even a negative review can lead to a purchase. So I'll give you an example. I do video reviews on Amazon all the time, and I did a video review on the Oculus, the VR headset, and I hated it. I couldn't stand it. And I did a video and I said, here's why I can't stand it. Here's why it didn't work for me, blah, blah, blah. And I still made money, affiliate commission on that video, because there was plenty of people who watched it and they were like, I don't know what they were saying, right? But they obviously bought the thing. But I'm guessing what they were thinking is interesting to know. Doesn't apply to me. I don't wear glasses. I don't do this. I don't care about that. So even though my negative review still explained to people context, and they still bought it based on my review. Now, I don't know how that translates to home businesses or not, but how can consumers actually trust reviews? So I'll give you an example. Totally black and white here, but I know of a company, and what they were doing was literally a scam. Like, it was literally illegal, but the customers didn't know that in the moment when they were getting the services, right? So they were scammed out of money, but in the moment of the customer, it felt really good, super helpful, whatever. And then they were prompted to leave reviews. So there's thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews, but it's still illegal. They just didn't know it. So how do we know that how do we know reviews are legit? You know what I mean? How do consumers know that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think that the nature of the company, that's why for us sticking with local home service businesses, when we say home service, we're talking about roofers, plumbers, HVAC companies, painting companies, et cetera. When we're talking about that context, the opportunity to scam somebody out of money, if we're just putting ourselves in the eyes of the scammer, right? The opportunity to scam somebody out of money is a pretty succinct and specific window. And oftentimes that either happens, well before the review is left, or it's realized certainly right after the review is left. And I would say that in vast majority of cases, that's going to come out very publicly. I think Facebook groups are great places for people to, in their local communities, Nextdoor app in their local communities, this stuff gets out pretty quick. People are not getting scammed, at least not a sustained scam, right? Companies are not getting away with that anymore because we have such public accountability via these review platforms, via these community platform engagement platforms like Nextdoor and Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in some of these larger, I don't know, you see it a lot in multi-level marketing. You see it a lot in maybe some like beta early on SaaS products, things like that. I do see a real problem where you could actually build up, if you are the person that's acting unethically in one of those businesses, you could build up a lot of momentum, generate a lot of cash, generate a lot of positive sentiment, all before somebody actually realizes, oh, this is not good. I think time still tells that business is what it is. Integrity always wins. Black sheep show their true colors 100% of the time. It's always found out. So I think I'm a little skeptical that they would be able to get away with that for very long. You can always trust a review in my mind.
And they also didn't get away with it, right? Which is why I know about it. So it was
sure. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. But they did get away with it for a little while. When you solicit reviews, for lack of a better term, from customers, like, how do you ask? I was just thinking as you were talking too, I'm like, Okay, so if everybody leaves a review and just says, "Great service, so awesome," blah blah blah, like at some point it's like, what did they even use the service for?
Mm,
Like when I use the service, I can be very specific. I can be like, um, you know, this plumber, very helpful, super professional.
on
When they
time.
came by, they were so they were just very I don't even know, empathetic of my surrounding. That's not the right term, but you know what I mean. Like I can be, and then they fixed the problem, and they found the problem in no time. Then they explained it to me. They said, okay, we're going to do this and this and this, or this and this and this. I have all these details, right? But when people just say great service, like how do you ask for details, I suppose?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, first things first, if you're asking for a review, that is 90+% of the battle. Big win. Whatever content of review that you get thereafter is just, it's gold, right? I think you can often coach the types of reviews that you want, and the higher ticket of service or product that you're exchanging value in, the easier it is to say, hey, we're looking for an honest review. We would love for you to comment on our timeliness, the nature of how we understood your problem, and what your problem was versus what the outcome was afterwards. And even just like positioning it as, here's the story we're looking to hear from you. It helps us get better. Please answer these 4 questions. That's a great way to frame a review. Sometimes, especially, like if it's a cleaning company or a more residual service, lawn maintenance, turf care, something like that, it's a little bit tougher to extract, a beautiful narrative from somebody. But I think you can coach that a little bit. The first step is just asking.
First step is just asking. Now, I was pulling up here. Where did it go? Todd Jones calls them superlative reviews. I assume he's
Ah,
talking about still great, 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 awesome, the best, the best. By the way, if you leave a lot of reviews, you can't say the best all the time, anyways, because
that's right.
nobody's ever the best. But I also like I do a lot of reviews, so I think when people complain that I leave a negative one, I mean, I can show them, look, I got 800 other reviews. They're not all negative. They're all pretty authentic based on what I'm trying to do. Now, when it comes to where reviews should be left, what do you recommend? Like, for example, I don't go on Yelp, not interested. Sure, sometimes I see them, but I like to go on Google reviews on Google, just leave it there because that's where I usually would look myself. But what are the best places where companies should encourage people to leave the review for these kind of businesses?
Yeah, yeah. There's general rules of thumb, and then there's nuance geographically. We've seen a lot out west. I'm actually in Augusta, Georgia, so I'm on the East Coast. But out west, we've seen Yelp for service industry businesses work really well. Far and away, hands down, what we've seen have the most ubiquity and the most use is Google, right? I mean, that's when people say, "Hey, I'm going to Google this." Everybody knows what they mean. It's a verb now, and so your Google business listing, that's where we want to capture the most reviews possible. And not only do we want to do that because hey, that's where the most people are, and so on and so forth, but collecting Google business reviews for your Google business listing actually helps boost your Google business listing higher in the Google Map Pack, which is one of the first things you see in search results. The other thing it does is it supports the SEO efforts that are happening on your website. And so it makes your organic search ranking under the Google Map Pack rank higher as well. And so that's really just the massive amount of tangential value that you get from getting more reviews in Google. That's where we want to direct people most often. Typically, just because it's another widely used platform. After that, we're looking at Facebook reviews and recommendations, and then Yelp, and then Yellow Pages, then so on and so forth, going on down.
When you do Google reviews, does that help you with your local listing? Because I mean, a lot of the businesses that you work with, right? I mean, they're probably depending on whatever service they offer near me, right?
Yeah.
Do the reviews help with that, or is it just it's just an additional piece when people find them?
It absolutely helps. And, somebody's going to call me out for an incorrect statistic here. I think it's more than a third of the overall weighting algorithm right now for Google business listings and how they show up in the Google Map Pack is based on your review quality and count, right? And that's a two-factor deal. Review quality, what star rating are you? So, higher the rating, the higher the quality, but then also the actual volume of those reviews. And then some other factors in there, like is the owner actually engaged and responding? Are the reviews fresh? Are they frequent? Are they real? So on and so forth. It definitely has a big impact. And it's why it's one of the cornerstones of what we do at Fencepost.
I mean, it's just so interesting on, all the different things people have to do, but reviews are so important for businesses. Is there any specific technologies that you recommend? I mean, for example, when I go to Furniture Row, I get a text almost before I leave the store, and it says, "Can you please?" Or the car shop I went to, it's like almost before I leave, "Can you please review us?" And then it goes to all the different review sites, and it's a text, and I can leave a review. Now, the one problem with that is if I've already left them a review, I either have to update it or whatever, so it doesn't work from that perspective. But what technologies do you recommend, if any, for companies to use in that regard?
Yeah, we love Nice Job. Fencepost is actually a partner of Nice Job. It's a review automation tool out of Toronto, I think. And they have just done an incredible job delivering awesome value for home service businesses specifically. So if you have a service-based business and you're looking to automate your review collection process, sync up with Nice Job. They make it so easy. If you use QuickBooks, Jobber, any other CRM or invoice management tool out there, they have an integration for it. And they actually send out the review requests based on data that comes in. So a text at this time with this cadence, 3 other emails that follow, so on and so forth. It just automates and optimizes the process of review collection so you can increase that volume. We actually also own a coffee shop here in Augusta called Trellis Coffee Bar. And we use Nice Job to go from 0 reviews to day 1, we had 100. Now here we are, I think we're coming up on 600 reviews. And for a local coffee shop, the reviews are just integral for what we're trying to do.
That is so many reviews for a coffee shop.
It is insane.
Unbelievable. Great job to see that happening. Last 6 seconds here. So tell us, who should reach out? And I know you work with local companies, but does that mean just local to you, or you work with local companies anywhere?
We're actually on a mission to implement our local growth formula in one city in every state across the United States. I think we're at somewhere around 20 right now, maybe a little less than that, 20 different states. So no, it's anybody that serves any roofer, plumber, HVAC company, home service business that serves a local community across the U.S. Fencepost wants to help you grow predictably and profitably.
Fantastic. And which city is it in Iowa?
In Iowa? Oh man, I don't think we
Totally
have one in Iowa. Wow.
You do?
No, I don't think we do.
Well,
Bring them on.
Cedar Rapids, that's where we're recording from today. Ross, really great to see you, and we're out.
Thanks for tuning in. Please rate and review the Business Storytelling Show on your favorite podcast platform